Good morning friends and welcome to the pre-market view. US markets were up about 0.2 to 0.5% and this is for the third consecutive day that we are seeing them ending with gains, and finally we would have some clarity on the extent of tapering from the Fed. So today night we are going to have that news, and the general expectation is that the tapering would be in the range of about 10 to 15 billion dollars, and overall it is perceived to be positive for the emerging markets because there could be some weakness in some of the other asset classes, and overall liquidity situation also is going to be okay. So there is an expectation that post this announcement you could see the emerging markets rallying over the next couple of days. European markets too were weak, about 0.2 to 0.25%, no major economic data points. And when we look at the Asian markets today morning, Japan is up almost about 1.78%. Whereas Hang Seng is a little weak and South Korean markets are shut. SGX Nifty is suggesting that we are going to open up with about 7 to 8 points kind of a positive tick. So we might open up around 5900 odd levels. Back home our markets also consolidated yesterday. There was a very narrow movement ahead of the important events, both Fed and the RBI policy meet, which is lined up on 20th. And the volumes also were on a lower side, but there was a good amount of strength in the banking names, particularly the private sector banks like Yes Bank, Axis Bank, ICICI Bank and few others show a lot of strength. And in terms of flows, FIs were net buyers in the cash market to the tune of about 318 crore. The domestic institutions were sellers to the tune of about 500 crore, and in the index futures, the FIs were buyers to the tune of almost about 500 crore. On that note, let me invite Shaival to take us through important F&O cues, data and strategies that we can have in the F&O markets.
Good morning friends, let's have a view at derivatives. Friends, from past couple of days, we've been seeing that due to the events which have been lined up in next few days, markets have been trading in a range of around 100 point, that is from 5,800 to 5,900. Now during this course of period, we have seen that short positions have been unwound by the market participants, and due to which markets are able to close with a negligible gain. Now talking about the Pci ratio, the Pci ratio has again seen an uptake from 1.30 to 1.32 as activity on the put side has geared up compared to that of call option. But interestingly, 5,800, 5,900 and 6,000 call as well as put option has seen good amount of activity taking place, which has been probably saying that this levels would be very important to watch on post event. Now talking about the bias, our bias for the market is positive and we feel that buying may continue to emerge at lower levels. From intraday perspective, one can go long on Siemens by maintaining a stop loss of 462 rupees 40 paisa. Thank you.
Here are the important news and events that we are tracking today. First of all, SEBI has come out with their observations on the recent Ambuja ACC deal, wherein they have said that the company would require the approval or go ahead from the public shareholders for this deal to go through. Also the fact that there has been some amount of opposition by the institutional investors of Ambuja because of this deal. There could be some amount of roadblock that this deal could hit, and we've seen that Ambuja actually had corrected post the announcement of this deal, so there might be a bit of a pullback or recovery in the Ambuja cement stock over the next couple of days. In case of Bharti Airtel, there are reports that Singtel, which is holding about 30.76% stake in the company, could increase its stake by about 3.62% to take its stake up to 32.34%. There is not going to be any inflow of money into the company, but the fact that Singtel is increasing the stake would be definitely comforting for a lot of investors. And importantly, we've seen some recovery in the domestic telecom market. So there could be some case for an uptick in Bharti Airtel stock in the next couple of days. Oil regulator DGH has recommended shaving off almost about $800 million from the costs incurred by Reliance Industries on its KG-D6 field, so which is a bit of negative for Reliance stock. And the panel headed by the Economic Affairs Secretary Arvind Mayaram is likely to submit its report on NSCL crisis today, and the panel is likely to coordinate amongst various investigating agencies and is likely to come up with an action plan on NSCL. GMR has decided to sell about 74% stake in the one of the expressways to IDFC fund for almost about 222 crore, which is a bit of a positive for GMR. And Apollo Hospitals promoter Pratap Reddy has indicated that the hospital is in talks with the private equity player KKR for a possible stake sale. And SKS Microfinance has said that the leading rating agency has assigned a rating to the company's long-term and A1 rating for its short-term bank facilities for a total sum of almost about 2,000 crore. Coming to the company specific developments, the Indian IT companies are facing new challenges, particularly from some of the companies like EPAM system based out of Eastern Europe. And there are also reports that some of the key employees in case of Infosys have left them in the last about 1 month or so, coupled with the fact that the rupee advantage could also be waning, as we've seen some stability coming back in the rupee and the worst seems to be over. So couple of these events could lead to some kind of weakness in the IT names. So one can short Infosys with a stop loss of 3082 and a target of about 2931 to about 2867. And one can also short TCS with a stop loss of 1986 and a target of about 1888 to about 1847. Titan, some positive news as the government has increased the custom duty on the gold and silver jewelry by almost about 15%. So one can go long on Titan with a stop loss of 218 and a target of about 229 to 232. Yes Bank has been able to raise about $235 million of loans from the overseas, and it is likely to swap it with the RBI to take the advantage of the subsidized rates offered by them. So one can go long on Yes Bank with a stop loss of 295 and a target of about 310 to about 316. And Polaris has said that they are in talks to sell its services division to Japan's NEC. So one can go long on Polaris with the stop loss of 117 and a target of about 123 to about 125. That's it from all of us, friends. Have a great trading session and see you tomorrow at the same time.